Good evening to all the beings of Earth, seen and unseen. This is Sovereign Starseed. We're accelerating Earth's awakening process. And we're streaming every night, Sovereign, unsponsored, of my own volition news. Pretty rare to find nowadays, right? Y'all feel it? All right. So every night I like to talk about something that I'm grateful for. And I'll say this. I am grateful for, I guess, artistic creations of the past. I was watching this really cool documentary on Netflix, but it's actually a mockumentary. And it was all about like these guys that found this ship. It's a treasure ship. And they said that it was like this ship of this collectible person this person that like collected all these objects of the old world, and he wanted to make a sun temple. And it was so fascinating to watch it all happen, because like they played it all off like it was real until the very end, and you see this tiny little statue of Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse, like all covered up with like coral and stuff. And it was hilarious, because like it had me going for a minute. I was like, no way. And I was totally into it. And then at the end, like I saw Mickey Mouse and I was like, no way. And so I'll say this, there's a whole gallery, there's two big art museums right now that have all of this artwork in it that is supposedly from the old world that was like dug up by these treasures, right? And it was hilarious, because like people are charging to get into this, and a lot of them believe that all these treasures were dug up by this fictitious character, which I think is hilarious. So yeah, it had me going to the end, but yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. So I'm grateful for, some of this media, and I'm grateful for, ancient artifacts, because like the artifacts that were coming up were looking so good. Like the gold ones looked perfect. It was just crazy. So check it out. It's called like Treasures of the Unbelievable on Netflix, and it had me going. So I looked it up afterwards. I was like, no way. See? And that's what you have to do, guys. You have to end up being sovereign about this stuff, and you have to look it up and be like, why is there Mickey Mouse at the end of that? Like, what is all this about? And then I found out that it's actually a whole mockumentary. So Time War KP's up on the spaceship. Hey, what's up? Hey, yeah, on Periscope, it's hard to get the emojis to work correctly. Twitch is usually the best. But anyways, regardless of that, yeah, thanks for joining the spaceship. And yeah, this is going to be a good episode. Mega update. So I'm grateful for, ancient artifacts and what they represent, because, even seeing like some of the fake ones, I was like, man, that's beautiful. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into the news here. News, bring it up. All right, cool. What's up with the news tonight? So I'm gonna end up covering like a couple of days worth of news, and then just because like yesterday I wasn't here, and then also today I'm just playing the catch-up game. Plus, there's so much to go through. So let's start chopping and slicing and dicing and getting through it. Okay. As you can tell, I'm excited. Like, that's why I was tweeting earlier. I was like, man, I'm so ready to get back on this spaceship and start broadcasting again. So, okay. So first of all, Cointelegraph puts out this article that says Japanese crypto investors to pay tax of up to 55% on profits. So Japanese cryptocurrency investors will pay between 15 and 55% on their profits declared on their annual tax filings this year. Bloomberg told reports Thursday, February 8th. The Japanese National Tax Agency had already ruled last year that capital gains on transactions of virtual currency are considered miscellaneous income. So that's how they divided it. Or, I'm sorry, that's how they defined it. The tax on cryptocurrency profits is higher than the around 20% tax levied on profits from stocks and foreign currencies, with the higher percentage tax applying to those who earn more than 40 million yen a year, about 367k USD. In comparison, South Korea announced in January that crypto exchanges will be taxed at 24.2%, in line with the existing tax policy for corporations, which is a lot easier to work with, if you ask anybody. According to Bloomberg, around 40% of Bitcoin trading recently has been against the yen, meaning the country will receive a large revenue from taxing crypto. And I think that's really all I need to read on that article, guys, is that that's what's happening. Is Japan and a few other countries around the world are going to try to tax this super hard against their people, so that way their people is going to be like almost not even worth trying to make a profit on it. Over 55% of your profits, over 50% of your profits have to be given away now. So it's kind of like everybody in Japan, hope you guys saved up 55 cents of every dollar that you earned, because now that's going to end up having to go there to the government. And it's just so that the government can make a lot of money. So you see, guys, you're seeing how now that when we let the governments define what's going on, they defined it as miscellaneous income. Well, now that's going to be super hard for us to bounce back from and try to say, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can easily go ahead and, you know, continue to trade cryptocurrency because it doesn't tax me so hard. But in South Korea, 24.2 cents of every dollar you're going to have to end up saving. I'm just trying to put that in USD terms for anybody that's watching in the US, so that way you could try to end up seeing what's happening too. And it's easy for us to translate as well. But, you know, ultimately, what I'm going to go ahead and say is that, you know, if you're in Japan, you're in South Korea, my heart goes out to you. I feel bad that you're being opposed so badly by your governments, where you're having to give up more than half of your profits in Japan, you know, and you have to give up almost a quarter of your profits in South Korea. So, you know, I'm just trying to say, guys, that like because of that, we're now seeing how the governments are trying to find a way to regulate this out of existence. My personal advice, do not be scared of this type of stuff, just because these types of taxes are really the only way that we allow our controllers to take so much out of our pockets. So, next, I just want to go over Cointelegraph.com. SEC hints at tighter regulations for ICOs, smart policies for the true cryptocurrencies. Notice it says true cryptocurrencies. Like, who is the person that is sitting back trying to define these words? Because I'm telling you, I'm not participating in it. And I need to participate in it because I've been investing in this longer than our government. Okay? So, you know, like that's why it's so hard for a lot of crypto enthusiasts to try to end up seeing what's going on here, because, you know, and being okay with it, because there's so many people that have used this longer than governments successfully with no problem, with no regulations, that when we see governments try to move in, oh man, come on now. And then they try to make rules and they try to end up having people that were before them try to end up following the rules that they made after they got in the game. Come on, man. That's all I'm just trying to say. During the U.S. SEC and Commodities Future Trading Commission CFTC Senate hearing on February 6th, SEC Chairman Jay Clayton emphasized that ICOs will be met with tighter regulations, while true cryptocurrencies will be embraced with smart policies. Hard for ICOs. At the Senate hearing, Jay Clayton noted that every ICO token the SEC has seen so far is considered a security, and explained that if a crypto asset issued by a company increases in value over time depending on the performance of the company, it is considered a security. Okay, let's talk. I just want to end up letting you guys know that there have been other coins that have been out there that have nothing to do with companies. There are coins that have been out there that have nothing to do with the performance of some corporation. There is something like, I can't remember what it's called. It's called either Earth Coin or Globe Coin. Look it up. Don't believe me. Go do your own research. But it's called Globe Coin or Earth Coin. Now, This coin pays out miners depending on the amount of sun that we're receiving on the planet at the time. It pays it out depending on like how much like it's in the sky. So like when it starts to fall for the winter of everybody around the world, the payouts get less and less until the season of winter for whatever country you're mining in starts to end up ending and it starts to go back into spring. Then the payouts start to get bigger. Tell me that's based on a company. Tell me that's a security that you can actually measure as a human and try to end up dictating for all other humans what that should be. Arrogance. Hashtag arrogance is all I have to say to these people that are trying to end up making it hard for these beautiful technologies to embrace our planet. They're making it hard and they're doing it on purpose and they get paid when they do it. And we're the ones paying it. So that's what I'm just trying to end up connecting the dots here. He says you can call it a coin, but if it functions like a security, it's a security. So you see what he's trying to say? He's trying to define it for us, guys. He's trying to say you need to end up seeing and you need to call it a security because I call it a security and I regulate you. So Jay Clayton, thumbs down, buddy. Sorry. That is so sad that you're making it hard. You know, it says, although most ICOs do not offer equity or a stake in their projects in order to exempt themselves from SEC regulations, if the SEC considers tokens that increase in value based on the performance of blockchain projects featuring the tokens, then virtually every single ICO can be considered as a security. Okay, no, I'm sorry, man. Like, because of all of this, this is where it's going to start to get dangerous, people. They are starting to take definitions and they're trying to make it considered for us. You're sovereign. Every single person that is watching this is sovereign. Send this message out if you end up getting any value out of this. If you don't get any value out of this, get out of the stream. It's all good with me. I don't care. But like what I'm trying to say is you need to think for yourselves, guys. Don't let other people define what these things are for you. Don't let other people say if it functions like a security, it's a security. Sorry. If it functions like a blockchain crypto asset that I like to get into, that's a blockchain crypto asset that I like to get into, baby. And you can't tell me what it is for myself. Plus, I've been using this longer. Okay? So what I'm going to say is that you guys are going to find centralized authorities fighting tooth and claw to remain control over the species. This is where it comes down to it. This is what it sees. And so this is where you're seeing it. They're like, okay, I'm going to tell you what this stuff is. It's a security. So guess what? They've been using it way less than me. They've been using it way less than a lot of the people that I know. And so they're just now trying to get into it and try to make the rules about it for everybody else. And I'm sorry, but that's not something that can end up being even attractive. So now you're going to know what happens, you guys, is that these type of definitions, and when the SEC comes forward and they try to say this, look at this. Clayton also sent a warning, okay? Because he's the gatekeeper, right? And he's the gatekeeper that we allowed to be the gatekeeper. So the SEC needs to be replaced by some blockchain project immediately. Okay, and so it says Clayton also sent a warning to ICO projects and token issuers in the market, stating that the SEC intends to impose stricter restrictions on the ICO ecosystem. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought for once they might have made it more relaxed. Never. They only make it more tight, guys. That's what I want you to see. He says, quote, a note for professionals in these markets. Those that engage in semantic gymnastics are squarely within the crosshairs of our enforcement division. So you want to know what I'm saying? He's trying to say exactly what I'm talking about and what I've been talking about this whole time on this channel. The whole time. He says now, I got dogs that I can sick on you that I've hired. That anybody that wants to tell me what the words are and wants to tell me what semantics are, they want to redefine things for themselves. Oh, they're right there in the crosshairs of our enforcement division. So there's a threat coming out from the SEC for people that want to stand up for the true definition of what this is. And what they're doing is they're threatening with an enforcement division to anybody that's trying to say, no, you can't define what this is. Pretty much what I've been saying. Pretty much what anybody else that's sovereign is trying to say, because they don't want you to be sovereign with this. They don't want you to start to define this for yourself. They want to make the rules for you. They want to tell you what it means. They want to put the definitions on it. But let me go ahead and tell you this. A couple years ago, this was called internet money. This was called gambling money. This was called a joke. This was also called a Ponzi scheme. This is also called a fraud. Why do you care so much now about this fraud? Why do you care so much now about this joke? Why do you hire people to make an enforcement division over this joke, huh? And why are you making threats to people that want to educate people on the words and the definitions of it? Because the SEC has been doing a terrible job with what they've been trying to say that they were going to do. Let me show you guys. Actually, you don't have to worry about it right now. Just look in the past streams where I've reported that the SEC was promising to end up putting ICOs and tokens and coins at the front of their workload every time that it was going to come to them. Why? Because then they wanted to gain trust from governments and other people to be like, okay, yeah, let the SEC tell us what's up. Okay. And so then after that, they get all these coins, they get all these tokens. And it comes to them. The SEC dismisses them left and right. Plus, they don't even review them. Okay? So tell me if that's actually following through with your word. That's not. So the SEC isn't following through, but they're also even quicker to make threats about people that are wanting to get into semantic gymnastics. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's what they're trying to say about what I've been trying to say this whole time on here. I've been trying to help you guys become sovereign. I'm trying to help you guys remember it's the definitions to our words. It's the definitions to our words that's so important. So it's important to get into semantic gymnastics. This is what they would do in Rome. This is what they would do in Greece. This is what they would do in other places where true philosophy would happen. And not just one agenda being pushed on everybody else. Sorry if I'm getting a little bit passionate, but you guys need to see this because that's why I'm trying to say this is very important. I've been trying to say it the whole time. The whole time. Look at my streams. And what I've been trying to say is that they're trying to say that you don't want to end up telling us what definitions are. We're the ones that make definitions. Okay, anybody that consents to that is allowing to be a slave to the words. Do not allow yourselves to become slaves to these words, my friends. Don't just listen to these streams. Go out there and do your own research. Become educated. We need to become an educated populace, an educated species, so that way if somebody else is trying to say semantic gymnastics, we all go, okay, whatever, bro. Whatever. You're trying to be some SEC thing, but you're going to end up losing your relevance. And that's really all it is. So what I'm just trying to say, you guys, is that just take a look at this. See what's going on. See why I'm excited to bring this to you. And actually thank you to everybody else that's retweeting this right now. Super appreciative. Super appreciative of the retweets, okay? And super appreciative of you spreading this message out, because if you at all care about this type of stuff, and if you all care about like how your money can be spent and dictated, you need to look at this and see the events that are happening. Like, I'm not like just sitting here like thumping on one book. I'm not just going to one site. I'm pulling this articles from all sites. I'm pulling this from all kinds of places, and I've been doing this for a while to show you guys. Look through the streams, please, just to see the way that this stuff is playing out. That's going to help you become sovereign. That's really it. And what I'm trying to say right here, the whole time what I've been saying that these words are important is because now the SEC is trying to combat, and they now have an enforcement division of people that they're going to sick on people that are going to try to redefine words, that are going to try to be sovereign with the words. That honestly, I've been using these words so much more than the SEC. I've been using these words longer than the SEC. So many people that I know have been using this longer than the SEC. So why are we going to allow this new kid in the class to define what the words are in the class? Because this kid had a lot of clout at the other school? That's cool, bro. But you're a new kid on this school. It's cryptos. It's the world. And that's why what I'm trying to say is that I come from an honest place. I always have good faith in my heart. And I know that SEC right here, we're just forgetting. That's why I'm saying maybe being replaced by some blockchain project would be healthy for the SEC and healthy for the species for a little bit, so that way we could go ahead and step back and try and stop letting one or two people in some company dictate what the words are for us. You guys are getting your power stripped from you when you let that happen. Do not let your words get defined for you. And what I'm trying to say is, he's trying to say right here, true cryptocurrencies. However, Clayton makes a distinction between ICO tokens and major cryptocurrencies. He labeled ICO tokens securities while classifying the others as true cryptocurrencies, promising smart and practical regulations for exchanges and investors dealing with these cryptocurrencies. I don't care What I'm trying to say is that, like, we allow all of our stuff to end up self-regulating ourselves. I lost money in the past. I'm somebody that lost money on BitConnect. I'm somebody that's lost money on other things. Am I going to end up screaming and crying and whining at the SEC to help me make decisions on what coins I need to end up investing in the future? No, I'm not. I don't care. I'm making my decisions, and I want you guys to make your decisions too. If you like something on this planet, please go for it. Don't let somebody else try to end up defining what that's going to be for you, whether that's the path, whether that's the words, or that's the rules. You are beautiful. You are powerful. And we have so much to go through, but I just went off on a rant. So I just want you to see that, because now the SEC is saying they're threatening. They just defined it. You can call it a coin, but if it functions like a security, it's a security. No, bro. It's a collectible. It's a store of value. It's a way to pay back to nature. There's so many other things. It's a way to save species. It's a way to do so many things. It's a way just to hold value. So, you know what? No, I don't care. I'm not buying it. And in fact, he hasn't heard of Earthcoin. So why are we allowing these people to make the definitions on this when they haven't heard of everything? Go and look this up. Don't believe me, but look up the coin. I'm not sure if it's Earthcoin or Globecoin or something like that. Earth token, something like that. Just look it up and just type in coin that pays out based on the amount of sun you have. Coin that pays out more in the summer and less in the winter. Look at that. And that's a super smart way of having things happen. And let me just go ahead and tell you guys this. I wouldn't be able to share with you the story of Earthcoin right now if we already had so many regulations in place. Earthcoin wouldn't even been born. That algorithm wouldn't even exist, but it's an algorithm that monitors nature. So how are humans going to tax the monitoring of nature? Are we seriously going to continue to do that? Or are we going to move into a new space? That's all I'm saying, family. That's all I'm saying. And I get passionate about this because I don't want them to sit there and define it for us and then try to sit there and say, threaten us with exactly what they're going to do. They're in the crosshairs of our enforcement division. Wow. That's sad. Why can't we just talk? Like I've always said, just have healthy discourse. But no, there are regulators that want to make the decisions for us, define things for us, and then have enforcement divisions that they're paying super hard to go and enforce on their own brothers and sisters. Seriously? Congratulations to Vitalik Buterin and other people that already got their projects out. You were a young child that was able to get a beautiful project out like Ethereum. But now, with all these regulations, so many kids are going to be so up the wall, scared with all these laws and regulations that we can't end up using the mind of our youth now. We can't end up letting them go ahead and participate unless they got super big amounts of money to pay lawyers and crypto advisors, because they won't do their own research and just have the sovereign motivation to bring something beautiful to the planet. That's what I'm trying to say, family. Don't let other people define things for you. Don't let other people tell you what to do. And then don't let other people threaten you if you try to end up defining something for yourself. You're powerful. Remember it. Next, IRS forms a new team to track down crypto tax evaders. Cointelegraph puts out this article that says IRS assembled a team of 10 investigators for international crime investigations, as well as for finding tax evaders who use cryptocurrency. Bloomberg reports on yesterday. Chief of IRS Criminal Division Don Fort said that the team will work with international criminal agencies to investigate unlicensed exchanges as well. He says it's possible to use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the same fashion as foreign bank accounts to facilitate tax evasion. According to Fort, the group's focus is now on how crypto users change their fiat currency into crypto. So now it's going to clamp down. We know that you want to get your money out at some point, he says. So that's the IRS basically saying and making threats right there. The chief of the IRS making threats to a waking up species and trying to fight and say, yeah, we know you want to end up turning it in. And now we're going to end up clamping down hard because you might be able to avoid taxes. And you know what? You usually don't get a say on these taxes, so you better cooperate. That's exactly what's happening here. And you know what? That's exactly why a lot of people are going to be switching up countries due to this type of thing. I'll tell you here, I'm not afraid to end up paying any taxes on anything that I already did. But There are going to be some massive changes in commerce going forward because cryptocurrency came out to prevent this type of bull crap. And this is where it's going. It's going there again. Now that we let governments in, now that we let all these other regulators in, and now they get to say what the definitions are of every word and how it works and all that stuff and how much you're going to get taxed. When are you getting a say in this? When did you get to vote on this? This is something that's sweeping the world that you're going to participate in. So when did you get to end up having that meeting and saying, yeah, I want to end up calling it a security too? When did you have a meeting that ended up saying that, like, yeah, you know what, it's used to facilitate tax evasion? No, I want to end up letting you guys know as well. There have been 2 reports that have already come out, one in Europe and one somewhere else. Can't remember, but I've reported on them on my past streams. Any of you guys that have watched it, let me know what episode that was. But there are 2 reports that talked about how cryptocurrency is used for terrorism, money laundering, and tax evasion. And they went and they tried to scan a whole bunch of transactions, and they found out that no, actually 0.61% of the transactions they were able to actually follow to the end. They were able to see that no, it's not used for tax evasion. It's not used for any of that. 0.61% is how much is used. Just remember that. So like that way you guys can end up saying that, yeah, you know what? It's possible that shells on the Hawaiian Islands and other shells that wash up on the beach in the same fashion could be used to facilitate tax evasion if the people in Hawaii start to value shells over dollars. So what you gonna do? You gonna come and cut off a little bit of each shell now? Because I possibly tax evaded? What I'm trying to show you guys is that cryptocurrencies is just an exchange. It's a medium of exchange. It's a store of value. Native Americans, bless, to islanders, bless, all of you guys. You have shown me, and I have learned that like there is many different ways that you can end up valuing many different things. And so because of that, you can't let some third party come in and be like, wait, hold on. You guys are having fun here? That could be used for tax evasion. Hold on. I'm going to get with the SEC, and then we're going to end up coming up with some word to end up figuring out how we're going to put this into this. Look at all of my past streams, people. Look at them. I used to say they're going to try to find a way to put this into a box. They're going to do it. And tonight we saw it. There it is. And now we're going to have to live with that if we continue to consent to that. We don't have to, people. So, the IRS put together a team, hired some people, giving out some money to some desperate people, and then they are going to end up letting those people try to go after people that are evading taxes now with cryptocurrency. So as you guys can see, this internet gambling money that I used to be made fun of is now turning into something that you could be a criminal for. Isn't that so interesting? At the beginning of this channel, I was just an experimental hobbyist in the eyes of the IRS. At this point in this channel, if I don't give the IRS a little bit of every little piece of cryptocurrency that I've ever traded with, then I'm a criminal. You see how that happened, guys? If you didn't, just go through and watch some of the streams. It's all laid out. YouTube likes to mute a lot of these, so I'm going to start uploading them to DTube on the decentralized web, so that way it'll be hard for even a centralized government or authority like Google to take out this news that's coming out. So yeah, guys, just wanted you guys to see that. Next, Venezuela's cryptocurrency Petro finds foreign investors. The ICO is to take place in March. Cointelegraph.com puts out this article that says Venezuela's Minister of Foreign Trade and International Investment, Jose Vielmemora, announced on Thursday, February 8th, that foreign investors will be accepting payments for their goods in Petro, says Latin American government-sponsored news outlet Telesur. So this is really, really cool. I just wanted to just let you guys see that you know, this is something that I think is amazing, and I think Venezuela is always got a huge thumbs up from Sovereign Starseed right now, just because they've been able to end up pushing forward massive changes to their economy, and it was by default. You know, we'll say that, but I will say that, you know, President Maduro has been doing some massive moves to try to get the Petro launched. So the petro will be launching within a couple weeks for us to end up buying into. Each petro coin will be backed by a barrel of Venezuelan oil that he's already set aside. And, you know, this is fantastic to hear. Here's what I have to say as well. It's so interesting to see that this country alone is becoming so sovereign in the way that it is wanting to end up representing itself to the rest of the world, and the way that it wants to show the rest of the world that it can bounce back from an economic crash and so much economic instability through the use of a cryptocurrency. That is beautiful. So what I've always also said on this channel, which I want you guys to look at too, is that how are other countries going to deal with this? Specifically, countries that banned this cryptocurrency, such as China. So I want you guys to put yourselves in the mind of a traveler that just traveled from Venezuela to China, then back from China to Venezuela. What do you do? Do you go to Venezuela and change all your yen to Bitcoin? Because you can't do that in China, okay? So we have a country that's banned Bitcoin, and we have a country that's completely dependent on Bitcoin. All I'm trying to show you guys there is, how would you do that? How would you add up as a tourist going from place to place, back and forth? Maybe you got business in both countries, right? What would you do? You go to a country where the previous currency that you use is banned because of the slow thinking of the government there. But in Venezuela, it's like completely dependent upon, because they are forced to think forward because of their economic problems that they've had recently. So what do you do when you go back and forth like that? Be sovereign. Think about this type of stuff, guys, because this is what really it comes down to. It comes down to us making these decisions for ourselves and going, I wonder what I would do if I was going from Venezuela to China to back again. Maybe there's an exchange in Venezuela that I could change all my yen to Bitcoin in, and then go to China, because I know for sure I'm not going to be able to change anything in China without jail or arrest or something else. Who knows what they're going to do? And so from that, just think about that. And then think about where you come from yen or in China. I'm sorry if that's not even the currency that's being used, you know, but I'm just trying to show respect to everything. Is that, like, I'm just trying to show you guys, like, what if you were to come back from there and then go back into Bitcoin? Like, what would you do? Would you do it in China? Do you wait till you get to Venezuela and then change it back out? That's the only way that I can see this working right now. And it's really going to take some sovereign thinking, forward thinking individuals to really start to put that in place. You see what I mean, family? You see what I'm trying to show you? You have to be sovereign in order to push forward. You have to be a pioneer. You have to think for yourself. Because if you don't, somebody else is going to think for you. Somebody else is going to define these words for you. Okay? So next, Bitcoinist.com puts out this article today that says, can you really trust your partner? Hickey's blockchain-powered dating platform will help you start to do just that. So basically, I just wanted to show you guys this, that there's a new token out, which watch people try to regulate all this. You know what I'm saying? Trust issues. And so it's basically, if you end up finding a match with those seemingly flawless websites and apps designed to try to build up a family, as a rule, you face plenty of issues. How can you believe that someone you met on the internet deserves your trust? There's so many different things. And so this is a platform that this company has come up with to try to combat all of that. So let me just show you this. Let me go ahead and pause this music, and we're gonna watch this video together. The Hickey ecosystem. There's the Hickey token and decentralized app. Okay, so maybe this is just a straight up ad. So this is just a straight ad. But basically what this does is it says that what it's going to use is it's going to end up using a bunch of questions to help you find a partner. It's also going to use a verified photo site, so that way you can upload photos to a blockchain, and by uploading your photo to the blockchain, that's going to allow it to kind of give legitimacy to the users that are on there. And so really it answers the question of, how many of you guys have ever been catfished? I just learned this the other day. How many of you guys have ever been catfished? If you don't know what that is, I'll just say this, is that like basically it's kind of like where what I've heard is that when somebody uses fake pictures online to try to get to know somebody and build up a lot of rapport with somebody, and then they will go and show up and meet up with them in real life and be like, yeah, so this is what I really look like. I hope you still love me, you know, or something like that. I don't know, like all about it, but I just heard about this. So that's really where I was like, wow, you know what? That's huge, and that could really affect somebody. So here is how a blockchain-based solution is going to try to take care of something like that. So if any of you guys have ever used a dating site and you felt like you've been scammed, or you felt like the person that you're talking to you can't trust, well, what if you were to use a dating site where all of the photos were uploaded to a blockchain, couldn't be deleted, couldn't be edited, and if somebody else uploaded another picture that was stolen from somewhere else on the internet, it would immediately catch it? What do you think about that? I think that might end up changing things, at least to allowing people to have a little bit more trust in the online dating sphere. So that's kind of cool, you know, but at the same time, let's think about what kind of detriments that might have, you know, and what it might be if, you know, what's the downsides, because we always got to stay balanced, you know, we got to always look at the good and the bad. So, you know, like it could definitely instill some more trust by having those types of things up there, but I think some of the downsides might be like, you know, what if you uploaded a photo that you didn't want to always keep on the internet because you like changed? Like, what if you were like going through some type of like recovery, you know, like some type of medical recovery, and you didn't want to necessarily keep that always on the blockchain? Maybe you just wanted to like show somebody what else was up. Hey, somebody else up on the ship, Mr. Compton, yo, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're going through a lot, man. Mega update because last night wasn't on the ship, man. Just honoring myself, bro. So, and I'm just planning out this blog at sovereignstarseed.com. Check that out. I'm going to have an email newsletter out soon. So you can't sign up for the newsletter yet, but I'm going to get that set up soon. Anyways, what was I saying? Basically, so some of the downsides could be like, what if you're going through like some type of medical recovery and you didn't want your picture uploaded to the blockchain? Maybe you wanted to show your special one later on, what that was like. You know, what if that was like that? So I just wanted to think about that. That's just one case of many cases. What if there's like an area of, you know, some area that you weren't able to end up, you know, fixing yourself in a medical recovery and you did change, or, you know, so many other things that you just didn't want photos on there for even completely innocent reasons. And that's part of why the detriment of uploading some of this could happen with the blockchain. So I just want you guys to think about that as we move forward in time. Next, Bitcoinist.com puts out this article that says silence of the Lambos. China offers luxury cars for crypto despite the trade ban. So supercars on sale for Bitcoin as major corporations make daring inroads to broadening acceptance this month despite a government pledge to ending trading. Smaller scale endeavors are filtering through the Western media. Thursday specifically saw Twitter-based news resource CN Ledger reproduce photographs of a Chinese luxury car dealer in the city of Shenzhen, which appeared to show models on sale for cryptocurrency. The McLaren P1 and the Ferrari 488, F12, and F430 are on offer for Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ether in addition to Yuan. The content was originally posted to popular microblogging site Weibo. Next time people tell you Bitcoin is banned in China, show them this pic. And it says right here. So this is something that I really want us to end up seeing, guys, is that like, boom. So people have been over here, I've been reporting on it, and all the news has been reporting that Bitcoin has been completely banned in China. So if that's true, then this is going against the Chinese government to end up selling these cars like this, which, hey, you know what? I'm not going to say going against the government's why you're going to get it, but I'm going to say just for being sovereign and not letting somebody stop your flow of business, whoever put these on, thumbs up from Sovereign Starseed. That's awesome. I'm super glad that you're able to end up, you know, still keep maintaining your bravery in despite of all the regulations that are coming through from your government. So a tale of two realities. 2018 has become a curious month for regulation from Beijing. Announcements of a withdrawal from the Bitcoin mining market were coupled with a declaration that even over-the-counter and foreign exchanges would face a crackdown. At the same time, last week saw internet mobile giant Cheetah release a cryptocurrency wallet for 600 million users, while Bitcoin became the top prize at the annual meeting of fellow mobile company Meitu. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of this during this stream. No disrespect is meant. Both announcements came the week after the former director at the Institute of Financial Sciences of China's Ministry of Finance publicly disclosed that it was impossible to ban Bitcoin outright, a narrative official correspondence has sought to avoid. So this is awesome, guys. And yeah, they're going to end up accepting other cryptocurrencies. They're just banning it right now so that way they can try to study it, and then what they could do is try to regulate it for their people, so that way their people will end up having just as hard of a time using cryptocurrency as they do using their fiat currency. And that's the whole problem that the governments have right now, guys, is they don't know who created it, and if they could find out who created it, they could absolutely torture that person into, you know, abiding with their rules. So because they can't do that right now, they have to stand back and just ban it outright, and then just try to come up with some rules and enforcement teams to try to control the people. So as you can see, like, that's what I've reported on now the third time tonight. And next, Bitcoinist.com puts out this article that says Tim Draper, one of the richest men in Bitcoin, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will take over the world. So he was one of the few venture capitalists that strongly believed in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies before they became mainstream, according to a recent Forbes article. Tim Draper first thought about virtual currency 15 years ago while he was in South Korea. In 2014, the California-based investor was featured on several news sites as he has purchased around 32,000 Bitcoin worth nearly 20 million through an auction by the U.S. Marshals Service. The coins were seized from the famous Silk Road darknet marketplace when they went in there and they just stripped everybody in that marketplace, took all their Bitcoins, and then sold them for their own profits. And they still want to raise taxes. Wow. So in the Forbes article, he stated, I believe that Bitcoin and crypto will drive most of the commerce out of the world. Tim Draper also added, I quote, I don't know why anyone would want to go back to fiat when crypto is distributed, secure, and global, while fiat is subject to the whims of political forces. So cryptocurrencies will replace fiat. He says, in 5 years, if you go to a Starbucks or McDonald's and try to buy a burger or coffee with fiat currency, the person on the counter is going to laugh at you. He says, I'm still enthusiastic about the creativity that ICOs bring to society and the progress these entrepreneurs can make, but teams need to do careful planning to manage people's expectations in the case that the token is popular. And so basically what he's trying to say is exactly what I've been saying, guys, is as soon as a government tries to get in, tries to come on and regulate this, well, like, because it's getting too popular, well, yeah, then you got to end up being like really, really careful of what's happening, because you know, this is the tyranny that our people are facing. You know, our founding fathers would always say that once the government gets to be too big to where the people can't end up having a say, or they don't feel like they have power anymore, that's when the tyranny starts to happen. And this is where we even have some of the biggest and richest people in the world accepting the tyranny and saying, look, you guys got to be I love what you guys do, but you guys got to be very careful in managing expectations. And seriously, I totally agree with Tim Draper on that. Like, that's all that it is. You know, if an ICO is clear about their expectations, they're clear about what they're trying to tell people, they're clear about how they're going to get their profits back or their promise of whatever the token is trying to give, then, you know, then it's going to be hard for anybody to try to go to a regulating authority and be like, oh, I lost my money and I didn't know I was going to lose it. Will you help me, SEC? Will you please help me? And that's when the SEC goes, yeah, of course. Like, we're the regulating people. Like, you want us to control some people? We got you. And so, yeah, that's just what I want y'all to see there. Next, I just want you guys to see this. And this is something that's kind of interesting. This is from WND.com. And, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this real fast. It says, man fined $1,265 for a crime of opinion. So, new evidence of Sharia influence in a Christian country, it says. Boom, 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 boom. A man in Sweden has been fined 1,265 USD for a crime of opinion. The 55-year-old man from Jönköping was convicted of writing on Facebook that Sunni Muslims account for a lot of the gang-related crimes and rapes committed in Sweden. The man stated that he stated all of this on here, this like just that like he's blaming some people for something. He had an opinion about it. And basically the Facebook post apparently violated Sweden's laws against being criminally derogatory, which is, quote, a crime of opinion. The Sputnik News report explained that Muslims account for at least 80% of, all that stuff, but wasn't impressed with the facts. This judge with the report said that the post was formulated in an abusive way and instead of inviting a discussion on matters of religion, voiced hate against a group of people. So the 80-page investigation looked at 4,000 rulings from 80 Swedish courts in recent years, and it just basically says that there was a survey that was conducted a few months ago and found that immigrants drastic overrepresentation in sexual assaults with men of foreign descent, allegedly committing over 90% of rapes. So from that, I just want you guys to see that here we're having somebody that wrote something on the internet now getting fined for the things that he wrote on the internet. So this is just where I want you guys to see that, first of all, we have value put into a new superpower. That superpower is no government, it's the internet. And if you do something wrong to that superpower, there are governments there to kind of represent that internet, I guess, and basically fine you and get money out of you for the things that you wrote on it. I don't agree with this man's views. I'm just trying to show you guys what type of freedoms we have even right now on the internet. And that's why, as well, as you've been seeing during this stream, I am who I am, and that's why I'm also uploading my stuff to the decentralized web as well, because I'm tired of being censored and also living in a vibration of fear, so that way I can't say what I want to say on stream. I can't report on what I want to report on stream. I've been wanting to report on things like this for a long time, guys, so that you guys could see this, so you guys could see exactly what's happening to people around the world here, and that way we can wake ourselves up. So from that as well, next in news, of course, a mystery website attacking city-run broadband was run by an ISP. So Fidelity wanted to tell the other side of the story with astroturfing. So the campaign titled, okay, so listen to this, Analysis Cable Biz. So this came from actually I'm sorry, let me give credit first. The register.co.uk put this out 2 days ago, and it said, Analysis Cable Biz, Fidelity Communications has been forced to admit it was behind an astroturfing campaign against a city-run fiber network in America's Midwest. The campaign, titled Stop City Funded Internet, started last month with a website and accompanying social media handles, and has been a persistent critic of efforts by West Plains, Missouri to expand its homegrown broadband network to include more businesses and even residential customers. Who exactly is behind the campaign has been the subject of intense interest, with the campaign's main website revealing only that it was funded by, quote, a collection of fiscally conservative Missourians. So, however, one enterprising local videographer, Isaac Protiva, was able to uncover the truth. Cable company Fidelity Communications, which offers internet access in 5 states including Missouri and boasts over 115,000 customers already, the ISP has paid a marketing outfit based in Arizona to carry out this campaign. So how did he figure it out? The marketing company screwed up when it named materials on StopCityFundedInternet.com. Specifically, 2 images on the site were spotted revealing Fidelity as a client. Incredibly, one of the site's main header image, called Fidelity SFCI website version 2.jpg. The second image was on a privacy page and was hosted on a server called fidelity.dmwebtest.com. Talk about a smoking gun. So, yo, let's talk about that. Yo, what's up? Time War KP. Imagine if everyone on Periscope got fined for derogatory comments. I know, right? That'd be so crazy. Think about what's happening right now, though. How there's just a huge data collection just building up of all of these things. So, You know, it's fascinating to see this, but yeah, I know, right? That would be so crazy. Imagine all the stuff that people already post on the internet and have already done to trash themselves like that, you know? But here's the other part. Think about this. So there's this website, there's an ISP. Imagine if Comcast, for anybody that's in Colorado, imagine if Comcast tried to end up, imagine if Denver Internet was some small company that was like starting to rise up and they're like, yo, we're tired of everybody trying to end up deprioritizing your channels and making your net not neutral. So we would like to make your net neutral. We want to end up giving you equal access to anybody that goes through us. And that is pretty hot right now because Comcast and everybody else are shooting themselves in the foot by prioritizing certain customers over others. And imagine if little Denver Internet, you know, was starting to come up and they're like, we're going to treat everyone fairly. Well, imagine if Comcast paid some little company like Minnesota Social Media to create a whole website called StopDenverInternet.com. And every day on the internet, they made this website that just trashed Denver Internet, being like, nope, this is a horrible company. This is a horrible company, horrible company, horrible company. And imagine if Comcast did that. That's pretty much what's happening right here. And I want you guys to see that that's where you're seeing that Comcast already has too much money. But Fidelity Communications is something that's similar to it. It already has too many customers and it wants more. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to create websites that are trying to smear this whole website, just trying to do a good thing. You know what I'm saying? It almost makes you wonder if anybody smears honest and conscious streams like these. Just think about it, y'all. Because we're waking up. But like, yeah, from that, like, just think about that. So that's definitely possible. Now we've seen it in another state. It's possible that we're going to end up seeing it everywhere in the future. That if you're trying to come up with some beautiful internet product to help the humans get better internet, faster internet, stream more, have more fun with the internet, well, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be against you, unfortunately, which is so sad. And so that's why now mayors of certain states have had to sign pledges to try to keep the internet neutral. And they're going to depend on companies like these small little ISPs. And that is beautiful, my friends. So check the past streams. They've been reported on. Next, I just wanted to report the National Post put this out today that says our military is going to spend $170K so that our leaders can see what it's like to be stoned on marijuana. So the Canadian Force is buying kits that will let its leaders experience what it's like to be stoned on marijuana. It says the quote, marijuana simulation kits will include marijuana impairment goggles, among other items. The Canadian Forces wants to acquire 26 of the kits by April 30th or sooner if possible. He says, quote, the purpose of the marijuana simulation kits is to raise awareness of marijuana impairment, reduce risk of marijuana impairment, and promote healthy lifestyles within the Canadian Armed Forces. Companies who want to bid on the contract were told, quote, the marijuana impairment goggles, which is one of the several items included in the marijuana simulation kit, allows users to experience firsthand the deficits marijuana creates on the body. Well, as you guys have seen this whole time and that we've been streaming, I would like you to try to see if they would have like a simulation kit that also shows you and simulates the benefits that it has on the body too. I think that's very biased in one way of looking at it, and it's not balanced at all. And so because of that, you're definitely, if you're using one of these, you can already tell that you're going to be in for a bad time. And like they're going to force certain people to go through that. And let me also just go ahead and say right now, I'm stoned. I can see perfectly fine. I've been reading articles for months now on this screen. I can go and take an eye test right now if I wanted to, and I'd be able to see most of the letters on the board. There will be a certain area, like I can't admit, there will be a certain area that I won't be able to see in the future. Like, or even right now on the board, like way down there, it's going to get so microscopic that my eyes will stop at some point. I admit that. But it's not impairing my vision. And I am pretty sure if I was to put on some of these goggles, it would be a little more intense and different than what I get when I smoke. Because usually when I smoke, guys, it's for a lot of pain relief. And yeah, because of that, for somebody else to try to dictate all the deficits that it has on the body and just make a kit that's going to make the deficits That's horrible. It's called the one-sided kit. The marijuana one-side kit. We show you all the wrongs about it, none of the rights. So next, Bitcoinist.com, and I want to start ending on a positive note, you guys. So Bitcoinist.com puts out this article yesterday that says these U.S. states are racing to collect taxes in Bitcoin, and so it says Tennessee. The volunteer state Democratic Representative Jason Powell from Tennessee says, we are not just competing with other states in the technology and the space, we're competing with the world and making sure that Tennessee has meaningful blockchain legislation. It is really important to say that Tennessee is supportive of this technology and we want to be a leader in this innovation. So, aw, isn't that sweet? They want to end up being #1. So they're going to end up having to go harder than Texas. They're going to have to go harder than everywhere else. They're going to have to go harder than Australia, who's already using its whole stock market on a blockchain. They're going to have to go harder than Dubai, who's already got its whole government on a blockchain. They're going to have to go harder than Brazil, because Brazil's doing its whole electoral campaigns on a blockchain. So, okay, step up. Arizona to accept Bitcoin payments for taxes. So, state legislatures have proposed bills aiming to both recognize Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies only as a currency, as opposed to a commodity, and allow state taxpayers the ability to pay their taxes with Bitcoin. So they're like, we're going to define it for you. We're going to tell you how much to pay. And if you want, you could pay us in it. That's crazy. So it says, Representative of Arizona, Jeff Weininger, says it's one of a litany of bills that we're running that is sending a signal to everyone in the United States and possibly throughout the world that Arizona is going to be the place for blockchain and digital technology in the future. So they're trying, and they're trying to be like, we're going to do it through taxes. And so, yeah, I think that's pretty fascinating. The only thing that I do see about this is that, okay, it says in June, New Hampshire passed a law exempting Bitcoin from the state's money transmitter regulations. So it looks like, New Hampshire is an attractive place to go. And yeah, this is fascinating. So how is New Hampshire going to exempt it from money transmitter regulations, yet on a federal level, the IRS, which is a private third-party company, we're letting them dictate what that is. And they actually now have enforcement teams due to come after people that want to teach you, that they have enforcement teams that go after anybody that wants to end up arguing about the definition of Bitcoin. So I just want you guys to see that, see exactly what's been happening and how these moves are playing into it. And government, the word for government is mind control. They're trying to control your mind by defining what the words are in your mind. So remember that. And then finally, Bitcoinist.com puts out this article today that says Berkeley hopes to tackle homelessness with its own cryptocurrency. In an effort to stick it to the man and reduce its reliance on federal funding under the Trump administration, the city of Berkeley plans to be issuing its own cryptocurrency. So an initial community offering. Ooh, that's new for an ICO. So the city of Berkeley aims to become the first U.S. city to have its own cryptocurrency ecosystem in which coins or tokens backed by municipal bonds may be used as legal tender in shops and restaurants to pay rent or as donations over the city's ever-growing homeless population. Additionally, money raised by the cryptocurrency will help create more affordable housing. Berkeley City Council member Ben Bartlett says, Berkeley is the center of the resistance, and for the resistance to work, it must have a coin. I love what this dude is talking about and where he's from, because yeah, like I've always ended up having like something in my heart for the homeless and for the people that are less fortunate. You guys, they're our brothers, they're our sisters. We have to look out for them. And in fact, if we don't, there's definitely a good chance, even if we don't look out for them, there's still a chance that we could end up being on the streets ourselves at some point. So it's really good for us to end up always showing grace to that. And it says his powerful teammates include Berkeley Mayor Jesse Arreguin and financial technology startup Neighborly and the UC Berkeley Blockchain Lab. Together, they hope to launch their own initial community offering. Berkeley proposed cryptocurrency would essentially utilize blockchain technology as a means of selling municipal bonds. Traditionally, bonds aren't the most attractive investment opportunity available, but Berkeley hopes the rising popularity of cryptocurrency will attract community-oriented investors worried about the city's socioeconomic issues. Neighborly's co-founder and COO Kiran Jain explains to Business Insider, she says, quote, "Unlike most of the ICOs which deliver coins for a future value or service, these coins will represent a real security issued for a specific purpose." So they're doing it to stick it to the man. The city of Berkeley's attempt at creating their own cryptocurrency comes as a response to President Trump's December signing of the Republican tax bill, which discourages private contractors from constructing affordable housing by undercutting existing incentives. As affordable housing in the city becomes increasingly scarce and homelessness increases at an alarming rate, Berkeley fears the long-term repercussions of the bill. According to city data, 1% of Berkeley's population was homeless in 2017. A bond backed by cryptocurrency will hopefully help remedy that problem. Bartlett, the creator of the coin, says, "It's actually enabling us to fulfill our duty as a government. Our duty is to provide for our people. It's a violation of that duty to allow people to sleep in the streets." And Bart, I completely agree with you. And I think this is beautiful. And you get a huge thumbs up from Sovereign Starseed tonight. Thank you so much for sticking up for our species, and as well as doing it to end up doing it in the right way of us as our country being able to serve our people, because I agree with that. You know, a government should serve people. It shouldn't have its people serve it. And currently we are right in the way of serving everything to the government. And, you know, they just sign bills and we have to agree with it. So what I'm going to say is that it needs to stop being a they and us thing, and it just needs to be all of us unified. And in order for us to be unified, family, we have to come together and we have to have some healthy discourse. All I'm saying, all I've been saying the whole time, baby. So with that, I just wanted you guys to end up seeing, you know, what's been going on with the news and how to end up staying sovereign with this. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in here tonight. I really appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate everybody that gets onto this ship. I appreciate everybody else that retweets the links. I appreciate everybody that invites their friends and their followers onto these streams. Man, that means a lot. Because, like, I'll tell you, I don't know how far I'm getting out there. And I don't really care to learn, like, all of the snaps and the chats and the things and the things. You know what I mean? Like, I just care about, like, trying to create these good streams for you guys, getting them out there so that way we can learn and we can become standing up on our feet, regardless of what our governments or our centralized authorities are trying to tell us. It should be, you know, the SEC should be like, hey, we think this is a security. What does the public think? And then the public goes, oh, we've been waiting for this. This is discourse. Let's go ahead and talk about what this is. And then the SEC will be like, oh, okay, we see that it's not even really a security. It's like it's like a transformable object. It's like water. It can be put into multiple forms. It could be gaseous. Water can be frozen, and it could be a solid. It could be a liquid. So because of all of that, to try to say that water is just liquid is what the SEC is saying right now. I want you guys to see it on just the easy, basic level. So that's it, family. You know, thank you to everybody that watches these streams. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to my regulars that get on here every night, I appreciate all you guys. And yeah, I wasn't on last night. I'm trying to get some stuff set up for the blog because the blog is going to end up having a lot more for it. The blog is already being published on steemit.com, which is decentralized and hard to censor. So yes, start checking out my Steemit blog. Follow me on Steemit because this is going to get uploaded to DTube later on. And if you want to reference this, I suggest referencing it on DTube so that way YouTube doesn't mute this or say copyright on something, you know. So I just want you guys to see that there. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night, 5 o'clock Universal Time, probably. And yes, this is Sovereign Starseed saying good night to all beings of Earth, seen and unseen, in all dimensions. My love goes out to you. Let's step up. Let's wake up. Let's educate ourselves. I love you guys. Good night.